Well, hi, friends. I'm Pastor Dave, and I'm here with a new story for today. And I'd like to start with a word. Do you know the word generous or generosity? If somebody says, "Oh, my friend is so generous," do you know what that means, to be generous? To be generous means sharing. It means helping. It means offering what you can. I'm thinking about generous today, partly, I don't know if you can see, I have a new shirt. This is a shirt that was given to me by my grandchildren. And it reminds me that we are generous with our love for each other. I'm happy when I wear it every day. Today's story is also about someone who's generous. It's a story that's called The Story Blanket. It is written by Ferida, Wolff, and Harriet May Savitz. Let's listen to The Story Blanket. Deep in the snow-covered mountains was the tiny village where Bubba Zara lived. The children loved to settle down on Bubba Zara's big old blanket to listen to her stories. You know, in some parts of the world, people say Bubba instead of Grandma. So this is a story about Bubba Zara, or Grandma Zara. And there are the children listening to the stories on the big blanket. One day, Bubba Zara noticed there was a big hole in Nikolai's shoe. When the children left, she decided to knit Nikolai some nice warm socks. But so much snow had fallen that winter that no one could get through to the village to deliver wool yarn. How could she knit warm socks without wool? "Every question has an answer," said Bubba Zara. "I just have to think about it." She poured herself a glass of sweet tea to help her think. Before she had taken 3 sips, Bubba Zara knew what to do. "I'll unravel a little of the story blanket and use the wool for Nikolai's socks," she said. Late at night, when everyone was asleep, Bubba Zara trekked through the snow and left the socks on Nikolai's doorstep. A few days later, Bubba Zara noticed the postman looked quite chilly. Soon after that, the postman found a scarf wrapped around his mailbag when he left to start his morning rounds. "Do you know who made it?" he asked everyone he met. But no one did. Do you know who made it? I'll bet you do. The schoolmaster was surprised to find a pair of warm mittens on the woodpile when he brought in wood for the school stove. And Mrs. Ivanov flapped the ravens from her wash with the new knitted apron she discovered beside her water pump. Before long, the grocer was wearing a new shawl instead of her moth-eaten old one. And the children had to sit closer together on the blanket when they came to Bubba Zara's for a story. What's happening to that blanket? It's getting smaller. Day by day, the villagers grew more curious about the mysterious gifts. Baby Olga received a soft new blanket, and the butcher showed off a fancy new woolen cap that covered his shiny bald head. The children were now squished together on Bubba Zara's very small blanket. Confusion grew when the tailor's scraggly cat showed up, purring and grand in a new, snug cat coat. And there was no story blanket left to sit on. The villagers asked the mayor to help them solve the mystery. "You know what Bubba Zara always says," the mayor replied. Every question has an answer. When the children saw the socks, the scarf, the mittens, the apron, the shawl, the cap, the baby blanket, and the cat coat all together, there they are, they shouted, "It looks like Baba Zara's old story blanket." "But she doesn't have it anymore," said Nikolai. "Aha," said the mayor. "The mystery is solved. Baba Zara used the wool in her blanket to make those gifts. Now it's our turn to give Baba Zara a surprise." So while Baba Zara slept, a few rows of wool were unraveled from every blanket in every household and left on Baba Zara's doorstep. Baba Zara was amazed when she opened her front door in the morning. She had never seen so much wool yarn in so many colors, and on top of it all was a sign that read, "For your new story blanket." The next time the children went to Baba Zara's for a story, there was a colorful new blanket to sit on, and a tale about a village where everyone shared with each other. As she hugged the children goodbye, Baba Zara noticed a hole in Alexandra's sweater. She wanted to knit Alexandra a surprise, but the snow was still on the hills and no wool yarn was to be had anywhere in the village. Baba Zara knew that every question had an answer. She looked at the new story blanket and smiled. What do you think Baba Zara did next? She's knitting a new sweater from her new story blanket. That's the story that's called The Story Blanket, and I really hope that you like it. I'm always so glad when we can be together. And I hope that today you have the chance to share something with someone who needs it, and maybe to let someone share something with you. That's one of the most important things in the world, is learning how to share with each other, how to be kind, to give kindness, and to receive kindness. It's a kindness to me when you listen to my stories. I'm glad you're here today. I'm Pastor Dave, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.